Today, Obama responded to the just continued, critiques of Black Lives Matter in light of last night, where upwards of 198 people were arrested between the cities of New York, Chicago, Minnesota, well, a city in Minnesota, its name escapes me right now, and Baton Rouge, where the latter two cities were where the two black males were shot. Now, he basically stated that protests are something that we've been doing for a long time and they've yielded results, and I give him credit on that. And I also liked that he acknowledged that some of the rhetoric that is used in these protests is counterproductive, and you actually see it go against the cause, or what they're trying to claim is the cause of what they're doing. So if you'll recall the pigs in the blanket shenanigan that we had in relation to the whole Michael Brown case. And, what I can't seem to comprehend, and again, I applaud him for what he said, is this overwhelming just resistance on his part, on their part, referring to the plurality of Black Lives Matter. I don't know of any individual members who have commented on this. Other politicians who respond to the group, it seems as if they all just take one thing. Even, TYT did this, and I expect better from them. They always overlook the shootings in Chicago or other, cities such as Baltimore. I'm not going to, make them the scapegoat, but that's where a good chunk of them are coming from. That just it's blacks killing blacks, and for whatever reason, all of these mainstream, I don't even want to say politicians, it's just public figures, they refuse to address it. The only one who, no, I take that back. Not even him. I was going to mention some rapper, but he was also into the whole cop thing. And again, it's just, I don't see why they can't address it. I don't see why they can't respond to it. And I actually had, I read up on Black Lives Matter talking about it's a group that specifies in going after cops who kill blacks or whatever, unjustly or unjustly or whatever. And I can think to myself, is we really, so we're just going to ignore the majority of these killings? And that's kind of my whole overarching, and I don't mean to get off topic, but that's my overarching problem with the group. If you are only going to address the killings of blacks by police and not all killings of blacks, which are mostly by blacks, you are not Black Lives Matter. You are some Black Lives Matter. You are not BLM. You are SBLM. And I think that's what I'm going to start calling them, because that's exactly what they're doing. And I have all these people trying to defend. They're doing good. They're doing good. I think it's so funny how, if I look at older people, they could be any race. I've had blacks say it, whites say it, Hispanics say it, that are older, in the 30s, 40ish. They think the group is just completely out of their mind. And not because they're racist or anything. Like I said, you got other minorities saying this, but because they know of Chicago and they know they're not doing anything to address it. And they just get away with it because no one wants to hold them accountable for what they claim is their purpose, to better blacks in this country. And I think they're doing a disservice to all of the blacks that are getting slaughtered over there in that city. And it's just how no one seems to have an issue with that, except for me and like two other people on here on YouTube. It just blows me away. Lastly, because I'm not going to rant all day long, there is a continued subsection of younger blacks around my age, 18, 17, whatever, just that kind of, the teenage demographic, who are not only content with the group, think they're doing a good job, but they make little indications that they want to join them. And to give you an idea of what, not all of them, but some of them really are completely phased out of this, the whole Chicago situation, where they don't understand the massive amount of discord over there. I was talking to one person, I think about 2 nights ago, and she was talking about she supports the group and they're good for doing this, and oh, whatever. And I explained to her, what about all those people who got murdered in Chicago? She said, oh, I'm sure it's not that bad. Like, that bad? 60 people got shot the weekend before this one. She had never heard of that. But see, that's the problem. People don't look up the news, and they think that only that blacks just getting slaughtered by cops, and even in cases where they are, like the Laquan McDonald thing, it's still not the majority of blacks being killed that are having their deaths come about that way. So, really, when that is said, and you look at Black Lives Matter after hearing me say that, it really certainly becomes this group where now instead of addressing at least the majority, like, you give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they think the majority of black killings are by law enforcement. No, they're not even by them. They're by themselves. They are killing each other. You know, there was a something somebody said where they were talking about how if the group addressed both, they'd be perfect. They'd be fine. If they addressed just blacks killing each other, which is again the majority, they'd be all right because that's the majority. You can't address the minority, or I would even argue some of it, without seeming as though you're not interested. That group cannot be called Black Lives Matter. If all they're doing is protesting when blacks get killed by police, they have to call them something else. We have to call them some Black Lives Matter. It's going to be called SBLM. And this isn't me saying, oh, they need to disband that group right now, because I know they won't listen to me, but you know it's so sad because they have the opportunity to actually address a lot of those killings in Chicago. Again, they're a group together collectively. So many of them, they could all do something to just prevent that, but they won't. And until they decide to change their tune and get involved with that, or the people of Chicago just abruptly stop killing each other, which they won't do, we're just always going to have these problems, and they're going to continue to fester for decades to come, thanks to the reluctance of a group that could have done something, opting not to. Thank you for watching and have a good day.